Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Sharp Side Saturdays. We got episode 35 on July 8th, 2023. Big UFC card tonight, UFC 290. Two title fights. I'm not going to waste any time. I'm going to get right into it. I like Alexander Pantoja in the co-main event. Flyweight title fight, plus 185, plus 180. I think there's value in that all the way down to plus 150. It's a very tough fight to call. I could make a case for either guy being a slight favorite, but I think the current line is too wide for a number of reasons. Obviously, these two have fought twice before. Pantoja is 2-0 head to head. The last fight was about 5 years ago. So it's not a complete indicator of how the third fight's going to go by any means. But I think there is a mental edge when you're 2-0 against someone versus 0-2 against someone. And just from an X's and O's perspective, I think that Pantoja is a tough fight for anyone in that division. He fights a ferocious pace. He has elite jiu-jitsu, great back takes. He takes the center of the cage, especially early. I think he's going to cause serious problems for Moreno. I think that Moreno's going to have a tough time kind of just standing in front of him, trying to land a jab and box at distance. I think Pantoja's going to force a fight. There are some advantages on the Moreno side that I'd be remiss if I didn't mention. He's a little bit younger. He's a little bit bigger. He's been 5 rounds before. That's probably my biggest concern on the Pantoja side. That being said, at this number, I'm willing to find out what what Pantoja's five round cardio looks like. So I'm on Pantoja today. Not a huge play, but I do think there's value on that down to plus 150. At current odds, I think it's probably the best spot on the board right now. What's up, James? Thank you. Good luck to you as well. I don't know anything about tennis. I played in high school, but I don't follow it at all. Volk Turner parlay. Nah, man. I mean, here's the thing. Jalen Turner opened like minus 180, and he's minus 300 now. So if you're taking Jalen Turner at this price, you're quite literally getting the worst of the number. Whereas if you bet him like a week ago, you would have got him at plus 240. And if you bet him 2 weeks ago, you probably would have gotten him at minus 240 this week and minus 200 last week. So I'm not a fan of it. It has nothing to do with the X's and O's of the fight. Has not like I just would never play the worst of the number like that. It's very hard to win. Let's go. Let's go, Sam. Apparently, my chat follows tennis and I don't. So good luck to you guys. What is up, my man? How's it going? Cute dog in the profile picture. That dog hopefully is a good sign of things to come with Pantoja. It's dog season. So Volk finished. Yeah, I was on the under at early price, like plus 100, plus 105. I think this fight finishes more often than it doesn't. Volk's finishing perception is misunderstood by the public, I think, because he had 3 fights with Max, who's one of the most durable people ever. He gave Ortega a beating that really should have been stopped. So I think Volk to finish is probably a good look. Even better. Good for you then. Keep it. Let it ride. Anytime you're beating the number like that, I love it. I'm not a big fan of parlays, but if you're beating the number, man, all the power to you. Any other questions, leave them in the chat. I'm down to hang out for 5-10 minutes if you guys are. Simon, round 1, all over the board. Minus 120. Awesome. Yeah, I mean, he's fighting an Alaskan FC guy, and we all know how that goes. It doesn't take a professional to understand how these Alaskan FC guys do in the UFC. The one concern about Simon is he's not like a prolific finisher, but I think this guy is like asking to be finished. Nickel KO or sub. I think a sub is more likely, but it's also priced that way. Yeah, I think sub's probably more likely, but if I were betting it, it'd probably be KO. So one sec. What else you guys got? Sitting here. I don't know, man. Pantoja sub 1 or 2 plus 1,000 have any value? Maybe a little bit. I don't see why not. Biggest long shot what's the biggest long shot guy that has a chance to ruin people's days? I would say probably Dan Hooker at these odds. I haven't bet it. I don't even know if you'd call plus 250 a long shot, but for long shots. Maybe we'll talk about the minus 1,000s. Like Tyra, no. Nickel, no. Rodriguez, no. Maybe Duplessis, but even that, I feel like Whitaker should probably be fine. Maybe the Yargui Gomez fight, but I think Yargui's gonna be fine too. I'm not on DDP. Menafield fight, I got nothing there either. Should be a close fight. I feel like a wide variety of outcomes could be there. Um, what else you guys got for me? Any NFL bets? I'd be lying if I said I knew. I'm not an expert. I watch the NFL like for fun, like you guys. I bet it professionally too, but I'm not betting it based on my own information. I'm just getting it from other people. Thank you. You provided some valuable insight as well. Lawler Price. It's a very tough fight to call. Both guys look shot. Lawler's old. This is a retirement fight. He hasn't fought in a year, so coming off another layoff. Yeah, I mean, I think you're risking it with the over. I think either of these guys could finish. Both look pretty shot. Maybe Price has a little bit of grappling outside. Reel him in bed Streakus. Yeah, I mean, Dreekus, as we know, wild man, just finds a way to get it done. So if he finds a way to get it done here, all the power to him. Love that bet. Just gave him. Yep, you just gave it. Any early thoughts on Dustin and Gaethje? Thinking a striking fight, you gotta lean Dustin again, right? Gaethje's fighting a little bit smarter lately. Maybe he mixes in some wrestling, but he doesn't have much from top. He probably doesn't have the cardio to do it for 5 rounds either. So I favor Poirier again, but have to do some deep dive. I think Whitaker fight goes distance. No, I think it ends inside the distance. Gaethje training altitude could be a factor. It's probably a good idea. I don't know how much of a factor, but not a bad idea. Cheers. The card starts at 6. We got another 8 hours or so. Gonna start sending out some bets for next week's card today when the limits open up. Should be a good one. I know the card isn't good for betting next week, but I really, or excuse me, isn't good for entertainment or name value next week, but I really like it for betting. So should have some spots there. I'll hang around for 2 more minutes. We've been live for 7.5. I'll go to 10 minutes. You guys have any more questions? Anything on the card? Anything betting related in general? Fire away. Volk Aljo potential matchup. Yeah, I think Volk would beat him pretty soundly. Aljo probably needs an early back take, but I think Volk gets it done. Aljo is a big 35, but when you're going up to 145 against a guy who's literally fought at 155, it's tough, especially who's really good. I can't watch another home fight. Yeah, they're not fun. I'm not going to pretend like they are. What stands out to you as your most confident pick take that aged well? That's a good question. I think maybe last summer, right around this time last year, I max bet Dustin Jacoby against Daeun Jung on the Long Island card, and the line was going against me, which never happens. I planted my flag, doubled down, tripled down, and yeah, he ended up knocking him out in the first round, and I was there in person. So that was I don't make many max bets often. I had 2 all last year. It was that and Carlos Barza. So it was 2 for 2 last year, 0 for 0 this year, but I'm sure I'll have one soon. Not sure about exploding. Hooker's gonna sleep Turner cold today. That'd be interesting. What do you think of Costa and Lingo? I have to look still. It's one of the last fights I have to tape. Going on that Stipe Jones fight in NYC? Probably not. I moved out of NYC, but we'll see what happens. One of these heavy juiced unders are gonna go over. Any fight you like most for that? Not particularly. I'm not on any overs this weekend, actually. I don't know. Yeah, I got nothing. I'm sorry. I don't think any of those are going over. No such thing as a lock, but I gave away Pantoja earlier in the show. Do you factor in what the public is on / what the book needs in making bets? No, not at all. Books try to align themselves with my bets, so they want to need what I'm betting when they're taking a stance on a fight. Prime Stipe smokes Jones. I don't know about that one. What line do you put on Ilya and Volk, and do you ride the Ilya train again? I think it's a close. I think it's a fight that truly could go either way. I feel like that'd just be a swinging match, man. I don't know. It's very hard to pick against Volkanovski right now, but I've picked Ilya in literally every single one of his UFC fights, and he's won every single one of his UFC fights without much trouble. So it's a great fight. I hope Volk doesn't move up to 55 next. I hope he stays at 45 and takes that fight because I'm very excited. All right. I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you guys for joining. Back every Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern time. Please leave a like and a comment. I really appreciate it. Have a nice day.